Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Borderlands 3. Okay, now before we even get started, I want to talk about something that I've been it's been trapped in my mind for a good little bit. Essentially, I really didn't like the first couple videos that we made of the series, all the Borderlands videos we made. There was, with a couple exceptions, I really did like the way that whole farming, or kind of like legendary weapon guy we did, the weird like goofy quick part, and then us actually doing our best to get it and failing all the while, but eventually getting it, of course. I like that format. I like that happened, but I didn't really like the weird like in between parts where I just randomly pulled you guys in. I felt like I played for such long periods of time to where my brain was just melted by the time I got to you guys, and I couldn't really articulate what I thought was really cool in the moment. And also, I was really tired that whole time because I woke up really early to play the game. But when I'm tired, my personality gets like suffocated as well. So when it comes to being like amped to do something, I was pretty lackluster and dulled out. But hopefully that'll change. I'm very tired today, but you know, we're gonna push past our limits and all those weird things. This is not My Hero Academia, but still. Okay, well, in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk about the overpowered nature to both Fl4K, his build. This may be part 1 of 2 or 3. When it comes to covering Fl4K and his skill tree and his weapons and his legendary, just generally otherwise known as his build, there are going to most likely be many videos about this, but this is going to be part 1, as well as a little baby update, as we just did, but also, oh my god, I can't even put it into words. You guys, if you guys are watching this now, might have very well missed the biggest gold rush in Borderlands that we have, which there's not much else to have, but still, yeah, there was a crazy gold rush. As you guys can see, my entire inventory is completely jam-packed with legendaries. And if we go to my safe, it is also jam-packed with legendaries. In fact, I don't have any more bag space, hence why I'm just holding random. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a wild time. It was a great time to be a Borderlands fan and to pay attention to the community and to see everyone coming up with thousands of ways to get loot, farm to like the craziest efficiency. Also, people finding out what Fl4K's perfect mix is, which, with that being said, let me drink my coffee and we'll jump into how Fl4K is the most broken boss killer in the game. Now, does that mean he is good with everything and needs to be patched? Not really, in my opinion, because he's only really good for boss killing. He suffers greatly from survivability, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so first things first, forgive me if I stumble over explaining things, but I got a lot to say about this. So the first thing is, again, I don't think it's that overpowered because it's specifically, this is a build that is best for killing bosses, but not just sort of mobbing or surviving. In fact, the build that I did my whole Let's Play with, or my playtime, I didn't really do a full Let's Play. Anyways, that build is, I think, much better, which is entirely using rack attacks as well as their lifesteal ability for your healing to stay up and at 'em, to using this and using this in sequence so that you always have that healing flow, as well as your racks are just amazing in general, so they're going to be killing things as well. Essentially speccing myself to buff up the hunter skills to a crazy amount. Like, I think if we have a special, if I have one of my perks, we can buff this up to like 50 or 45 gun damage just when we kill one badass. That's one perk. And then there's stuff like this, which is amazing. There's stuff over here, which is amazing too. This one, yeah, gives us gun damage and it's stackable. There's so much good stuff there. But we're not going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about what's on everyone's mind, what everyone has also talked about, which is Fl4K's melting build, his build that just eviscerates the entire world. Okay, as well as my own little divergent path that I chose with build because of certain legendaries that really facilitate Fl4K. Anyways, we're gonna try to run through this. So essentially, we want ammo regen because of the certain pistol that we use only has 2 shots, so the fact that we can get that back if it is a critical hit is amazing. Also, 1 bullet is, I think, 12 or 6 bullets with the handgun that we use, which is great. Hunter skill just gives us a crazy amount of damage as well as a bonus to certain enemies, which is great. We also got this. Again, critical damage is enhanced for humans. Robot, we get armor damage, damage reduction against beasts. All that's great. This is amazing. I love this perk ever since I can remember. When Fl4K scores a critical hit, there's a chance that 2 seconds are shaved off of his cooldown. Amazing. Two Fang is really important because this can proc this as well as this more. because you're just getting an additional bullet, which is amazing, especially when you're using things like rocket launchers. Just if you want to have a good time, you'll spam out 2 rockets instead of 1. Good times. We are of course going to get this hunter skill, because even without it being amped up with a class mod, it is still amazing. Gun damage 25, and if you're playing on anything, it's going to come into effect. But if you're playing on any sort of mayhem mode, you're going to be encountering every enemy is going to be a badass, and you're going to be melting them all the same, so it's fine. And then we got this one, which of course is amazing as well. Flak gains an increase to critical hit damage, not bad. But when we score a critical hit, enemies are less likely to attack us, which is crazy, especially considering we have a beast. This would be less good if we were just playing someone like Moze, because they would just... there's no one else to attack, so they would just focus on you. But because we have our beast, the bosses almost just always go for your beast first, and your beast can come back quite fast. Yeah, anyways, now we got this one, which is of course the thing that kind of makes everything come together. It is the critical hit build. It is doing any sort of damage to the body. It will actually have a chance of giving you a critical hit, which is amazing. It's a 20% chance, which is nothing crazy, but if you're using a weapon like a shotgun or a masher that's like 1 bullet, but that 1 bullet has 5 shots, the likelihood of you getting a free bullet is insanely high. Anyways, awesome. Also, there are certain weapons that I don't have that I'm going to tell you guys about, and the reasons why they're so overpowered and strong. Anyways, we're of course going to go ahead and get Fade Away. This is the thing that gives Flak his unrelenting power when it comes to critical hits. We're going to go make sure we get this, which changes his entire action skill so that it no longer gives you 200 critical damage, but it gives you 50 extra critical damage for less time, but you're always critting for that 8 seconds. You don't just have 3 shots, which is amazing. And then of course we have a hunter skill. This is just get good damage stacking things, because you're not going to blitz the boss down in 1 hit. You're going to take a couple shots. You're going to be able to stack this up and get it back really, really fast. We have more fire rate when we reload, which we do rarely, but when we do, it's always nice to just have a little bit more fire rate and all that, even though the weapon that we have is a Jacob's handgun, so it just fires crazy fast. Our pet can revive us. It was 1 point. Why not get it? Doesn't really affect the build that much. Then there's this. While moving, we gain health regeneration, gives us some survivability as well as damage resistance. But if we stand still, we get gun damage and fire rate, i.e. when you're killing a boss and you're trying to melt him, stay put. And when you're trying to survive against ads, because survival is really hard for it with Flak, you're going to want to keep your legs moving. Cool. And this one is really amazing as well, because it synchronizes with this one, which is whenever we score a critical hit, which this whole skill tree is allowing us to do, over here, that enemy is going to start fighting anybody else, i.e. looking away from us, which will mean we get a crazy amount of damage just if that enemy's doing that. So if we're scoring critical hits, the enemy's gonna look away. We're gonna get this buff activated in no time, which is great. And then we have this one, which is kind of almost as crazy as this. As the bat killing a badass gives you a huge damage buff. Anyways, when we are above half health, which we almost always are, we gain an increase to gun damage and movement speed. Good fun. And of course, we spent those points because we want to get to this as well, which this is like the boss killer, but it's successful hits on the same target, increases Flak's critical damage per hit. So if you're shooting an enemy, it can stack up to 3 times. This is like peak melting of bosses. And that's it. We don't touch the master skill tree at all. Again, I would have loved if the master skill tree was a lot more stronger than it is, but it never seems like Flak's pets can even get close to the damage that Flak can on his own, which breaks my heart because he is the motherfucking beast class, and they kind of just shit all over his beasts. I hate it. Anyways, and of course, the thing that will almost certainly be nerfed is the King's Call. I think there's the Queen's Call is also a gun that would work with this. But basically, it looks like this, I think, every time. I also lucked out and got an action skill or a special variant. I don't know what it's called, a bloom effect or whatever. Anyways, it's when my action skill ends, I gain health steal, which is great. Gives me some survivability when I come out of being cloaked, which is crazy good. But anyways, the reason why this is so unbelievably powerful, and the reason why it comes together with the build, Jacob's guns in general have this perk called, when you critical hit with it, there's a chance for a bullet to come back to the magazine. That's specific to this gun. But the thing that's on every Jacob's is that the bullet will rocket towards an enemy. And this has 3. So if you get 1 critical hit, 3 bullets are going to spawn and heat seek the enemy that you're shooting or the enemies around that enemy, which is crazy. Not only that, but if we get a critical hit, we get our bullet back. So not only are you getting a free bullet, but that bullet is ×3, which is crazy. And the weapon does an insane amount of damage. And I got one with critical damage. and it's just nutty. It ends up just being this slaughterfest of fire and damage. Now, that's what everyone kind of knows at this point. Now, here's stuff that I'm sure everyone else has figured out too, because by the time this gets to you, it may all be gone. But this right here is also something immensely important. Also, I forgot to mention that I'm coming down with a cold, so my voice may sound weird. Anyways, a great coupling to this weapon is this. Now, the reason why is because this weapon is built to just be a fire rate machine. It shoots like crazy, and it has a similar perk to where critical hits return 2 bullets to your magazine, and the bullets will rocket towards nearby enemies. This is great for mobbing, not so much killing bosses, of course. But yeah, this is great. And what I like to do for when it comes to melting bosses, and you know what, fuck it. Boom, right behind me. There's gameplay of us. Maybe I did it before I even suggested I would do it. But there's been gameplay behind me of us melting bosses, and one of the things you guys will see me do, as soon as Fade Away is done, I immediately switch over to that Jacob's assault rifle and just hammer that boss, because I'm trying to get critical hits, and I'm trying to specifically get my Fade Away back. And this thing does an amazing job of not only critting consistently and fast, but it also rockets those bullets to nearby enemies, killing ads around the boss. So it's just a really, really good synchronization when it comes to that. Also, I do believe that there's a chance for the rocketed bullet to also crit and give you even more cooldown, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to crit so that we can get our cooldown Fade Away back faster. So that's the weird hot and cold kind of balance that you need to do when you play this kind of characters, because he's super weak outside of his action skill. You know, he can be God, but he's weak when he takes off the mantle of God or whatever, you know. I don't know what I'm saying. Also, another thing that does a similar beat to this is, let me find it. It's here somewhere. Is it this? It is. Okay, so this is also one that does amazing in terms of getting your crit or your action skill back faster. But it's not Jacobs that will help with ad clear. But it's amazing. In fact, it dwarfs this one immensely. So this is this. You know, consistent fast firing, amazing. But then there's this. So if you get close to a boss, or even if the boss just happens to be giant, like a lot of the end tier bosses are, like a lot of the Vault Guardians are just giants, if you get this close, you're gonna be able to get your action skill back in a second. It's kind of nutty. Oh, and the one more thing that can actually make this whole thing come together a lot better, in my opinion, is of course having a specific class mod. But of course, I like the movement ability. I find we deal enough damage to kind of get by, but when I'm farming a boss specifically, I will swap over to one of the many elemental kind of stacking things that exist, such as this one, corrosive damage boost. On a base level, we get a corrosive damage boost, but that has 5 stacks and lasts 8 seconds. So yeah, killing an enemy with corrosion increases corrosive damage. So if you're farming a boss and he drops an ad, switch over to that weapon type, shoot that ad, and you'll be getting a ton more elemental damage. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the build. Now, but just so we're not doing nothing in this damn video, let's go ahead and just go kill any boss. In fact, yes, we may do this in like quicker than normal. Yeah. So one of the characters that I'm actually falling in love with is Mo. She's my second character that I'm doing a playthrough of, and oh my god, I did not think I would like Mo's this much, but oh my god, do I think she is terrific. Like amazing. But yeah, Mo is honestly, like, again, I would love if there was a build where Flax pets could actually be quite applicable, but it's not quite, it doesn't seem like it's a thing. I'm sure that exists if you have like every right duck in a row, like the right mod, the right gun, the right everything. But yeah, also that's something I'm missing for Flak. There's a blue shotgun out there that's a Torg that just wrecks better than any legendary or whatever it's called, epic, purple, whatever it's called. But I don't have it, unfortunately, because I'm just, whenever I see a blue, I'm like, get away from me. But supposedly it's nothing shy of amazing. I am blown away at how much I like her kit. She's very reminiscent of Zero to me, and I think that's why I think she's just amazing.
I meant Krieg. Yeah, Krieg. She's similar to his blood explosion build.
I wasn't sure if she'd be my jam, but oh my god, she has so many abilities that remind me so much of Krieg's build that I used to rock back in the day, which is his grenade build, and her grenade build is even more broken than Krieg's. Way more broken, in fact, specifically with his one grenade called a Hex. The Hex, I see a lot of people using the Stormfront. I don't think it comes close to the Hex. The Hex is a monster, because essentially Mo's benefits greatly from anything that's splash damage, and of course the Hex is splash damage, but it's splash damage times like 3 or 10, because it spawns a bunch of these little tiny orbs that heat seek enemies. So you just eviscerate, basically. You're like a walking death wall. It's amazing. And you never die because she has so many things tied to health regeneration, tied to that. So you are just a monster, and it's great. Also, I am hoping I'm going the right way.
A little bit of video showcasing that mode I was talking about. Okay,
But yeah, one of the people that drop the Helix is one of these side bosses. He's the main boss. He's the Kawaii or something. I don't know. Something like that weird shit. Also, I have a mod on that's just the greatest. Thank you. Bye, Reese. There he is. There is the guy. Oh, I'm so used to playing Mo's, so I wasn't using the right thing. We actually got lucky enough to get a Stormfront, so that should do wonders for him because he has so much shield. Oh, I forgot where you were. I forgot how to play this character, by the way, so forgive me. That's him right there. And he has an immune state, but you get it. It's nutty.
Just a side note, really hate immune states Gearbox.
I need to get my stuff back. This is like a hard fight. It is easier with Mo's because she has the ability to have aggressive tracking with her grenade, with her Helix. Right now, just me hanging out in the corner. I'm gonna keep showing you guys that, or I probably have been showing us melting certain, like the end boss, like the more or less raid boss. Yeah, I think Fl4K is gonna be just dunking on raid bosses, which is great. And boom, boom. Oh, I have to reload. That's less ideal. And he teleported because of course he did. That's stupid. Oh, we got him. We killed him. Yeah, see, he's just super weak, but he just has a stealth thing. Okay, hello, me in editing here. The last stuff I need to kind of course correct. One of the things is we were farming the Hex from Katagawa, but I think I first dropped the Hex, but now Gearbox has changed it to where it's a world drop, meaning it can drop from any source, but it is very low chance of it dropping from said source. Although I've heard people say that they get it a lot, and then other people say they get it none. I feel that a lot with grenades, weirdly enough. I get the same Tiny Tina's like boom explosion grenade all the time, and I think it's a world drop as well, so that's kind of shitty. Anyways, also I didn't really show you guys, well, it's not that I didn't show you, it's basically when it comes to the mayhem ranks, which you want to farm every boss on because it gives you higher chances for legendaries. The thing that makes it iffy with some of the builds you may see is sometimes you do amazing with melting down a boss, and then other times you don't do as amazing. Now the reason why is because mayhem is random, so every time you save and quit to respawn that boss, it will give you a bunch of new mayhem modifiers. A lot of the time it's either buffing assault rifle, shotguns and the like, or buffing pistols and SMGs and etc. So sometimes you can just get really unlucky and get the wrong thing that your build is strong in, so mayhem goes against that. Now the build that we're using can kind of chew through whatever mayhem debuff a pistol has because of just the sheer damage output that we're doing, but yeah. And again, at the beginning of the video I mentioned that there was a special thing that you could kind of do that I didn't hear a lot of people talking about, but it's basically relics that have to do with buffing your elemental damage. So if you happen to get a specific type of Queen's Call, say it's a fire variant, and you get a specific type of increasing your elemental effect damage, then you can add that on top of your insane critical hitting and melting bosses that much faster. Also, another thing I didn't mention, because I didn't really know, but at this time, I think one of the better weapons for Fl4K as well, even maybe outshining to some extent, the Queen's Call, is actually the masher, specifically the masher you get from the quest, not like the pink weird one, because apparently that one's less powerful than the purple equivalent, which I kind of love and kind of think is weird also at the same time. Anyways, back to just ranting and talking about this asshole who we're trying to kill, and again, this will be part 1 of a trilogy of me having miserable times trying to get the Hex, so just, you know, keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, next thing. Please drop the Helix. We're on playing on Ultra Vulture Mode 3. Is that it? Nope. It's Tina's bullshit. Okay, well I already have one of those, but you know, I guess thank you. Well, let's back out. And I hope there's a save station somewhere, because if there's not, then we're gonna have to run that all again, and that sounds like a nightmare. Also, we're playing on Mayhem 3. This is the build that most people run on Mayhem 3 because everything is so tanky that, yeah, also everyone wants the special aura that exists on weapons when you're playing Mayhem 3, so of course you're gonna be farming with Fl4K. Fl4K is basically like the boss killer of the game, which is awesome and fine. Also, this is just for me.
To inherit a siren's gift is also to inherit her purpose. This is the choice of a siren presented with death. Pass on the gift and burden someone worthy, or release it and burden an unknown soul who has no idea that the entire universe only want them dead.
Oh, well, that gives a lot more context to the end for Maya. Also, it's immensely sad. Listen, Katagawa, that's not kawaii, what I said. Listen, man, I've always been a wee bit hard. Listen, dude, if I just get a crit on you, you're gonna die in a fire. But you just keep being too wily. Oh, come on. I'm about to say, that should do it. See those little orbs? They're just tracking him aggressively. God, he's so fast. Thanks, bud. Solid heal. My grenades. Hey, I was able to get some refunded bullets. He's being a real bastard about it. Oh, that's you. You're right there. Well, now he's gone. Oh, he's gonna spawn here. There we go. That should do it. It didn't, because he's being a real bitch about it. Can you just get zapped and die already? I get it, you're doing cute zero things, but this is the best fight. The best person to fight him is Moze, because she has the helix. Even a shitty one would strip his shields and stop him from like moving around. There he is. He's dead. And come on, please. They did nerf the ever-living shit out of legendary drops because it was a bit much. Just a bit, you know, but, you know. I really want to get one just because I right now, I'm not sure if, I think they're going to nerf harder, the legendary nerfs. Because yeah, it was crazy. That's one of the reasons why I have so many is because you could just farm. Well, first there was the loot midget farm, tiny person farm, and then there was the killing the final bosses, which that was the next one, and that one actually seems legit because it's actually quite hard to take down the bosses to an extent. They're not. It's not like impossible, you know. I'm about to say, come on, dude, how are you still alive? I riddled you. Yeah, it is weird. It's like the game's like, you gotta look at how cool he is and look at his teleporting and bullshit. I'm like, I've seen it 1,000 times. I'm okay. I don't need any more of this. Got him. And anything? Yeah, we got something. Is it the helix? No. No, it's not. It's not that, but okay. I really want the helix. Another sniper that I will never have, but it's apparently something. I don't think I have this. Something expert storm. Sure, I'll equip this weird thing. I don't use snipers, but it looks like it's different. Let's say it takes an eon to level up. I'm not sure I like that. Oh, it does put little tiny little, I think, death balls in the air, so there's that. But yeah, neat. Moving on. We'll do it one more time and then we'll call it. Sorry, guys, got an issue. Got a problem. This is the worst example of like how to do this. Listen, man. It's any boss that's big you can wreck, but any boss that just like this one where he has an immune state and he just jumps around. Honestly, I wrecked this boss with Moze because Moze has level 1 of the helix, which is just aggressively tracking the shit out of people, which is great. Got him. See? It can be quick. I think he has a sliver of health. Do some of this. It will just help us out. Yeah, the Stormfront's got nothing on. Or yeah, the Hex is so good compared to the Stormfront. Come on. Okay. Nothing. I heard that people said they got the Hex from him, so I'm hoping that they're not liars. They're not damn liars. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna crank away at this until we get something to drop, and then in the next video, honestly, I think I may have to show you guys Moze, because Moze, like, I don't want to say, because I love Flak, and I think Sure, we have time right now. I think Fl4K is, like, as of a personality and character, he is so amazing. Also, just his build, he's like a glass cannon, right? Awesome, love that. But I don't know, man, something about Mo's, her kit is amazing. Like the fact that you're whipping grenades and just laying into people and you're healing constantly and you don't ever feel like you're gonna die. Or at least I didn't, because I lucked out, and the first legendary I got her to drop for was the Hex, and I was already built for splash damage, so I just wrecked. But I will say that's something that's really bad about Mo's, though, is out of all of the characters that exist in Borderlands, I think she is the weakest, in terms of not like build-wise. I think she's strong as shit, maybe even the strongest, I don't know. But her personality, like when I'm playing through the campaign, she has just very generic soldier lines where it's just like, aye aye, Captain, cool. You know, whereas the doppelganger, whatever his name is, Zane, or Fl4K are just these characters. Like the way they speak, they're weird and interesting, you know, whereas Mo's is constantly playing down everything else, you know. It just seems kind of weird. Like she only really cares about her iron mech. And yeah, I just wish she was more of a character, you know. But she's strong as shit and I love her kit, so I think I'm gonna play her quite a bit. That rhymed like crazy. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.